All right, so here we're supposed to write the formula for the integral of f of x dx. So they give us f of x, so the integral. So for part A, we're just going to take the integral of 21x squared plus 10x plus 9 dx, and that's going to give us what? Well, that's going to be 21x to the third over 3 plus 10x squared over 2 plus, and that's a 9, not a 5, so that's a 9x, and then we have to have plus c. And if we simplify that, 21 divided by 3 is 7x to the third, 10 divided by 2 is 5x squared, and then plus 9x plus c. And that would be our formula for the integral. Now we're going to take the derivative of the integral of, so now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, b, now we're going to take the d dx, and well, guess what? We already found the inside part. So that's what this piece is. So I'm just going to rewrite that down here of 7x to the third plus 5x squared plus 9x, and then plus c. Well, I take the derivative of the first part. Well, that's going to give me 21x squared. Take the derivative of this, that's going to be 10x. Take the derivative of that, that's going to be plus 9. Take the derivative of that, that's plus 0. And I'm just not even going to put that down. And so 21x squared plus 10x plus 9, guess what? I get my f of x back. Okay, what about this one? Well, let's first maybe think about this as 15x to the 1/2. Okay, so it's going to be easier if we're taking integrals or derivatives to have that as a fraction. So for A, we're taking the integral of 15x to the 1/2, well, dx. And so what does that give us? Well, we're going to have 15x to the 1/2 plus 1, so that's going to be what? 3/2 all over 3/2, and then plus c. Now, what can we do? Well, we can take and flip this over, multiply by 2 over 3, multiply by 2 over 3. 3 goes into 15, 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So it's going to be 10. And then x to the 3/2. Remember, that's going to be x cubed and then a square root of, so square root of x cubed. And then we still have plus c. Okay, so that would be the integral of our original function. Now what we want to do for part B is take the derivative of that. And so we're taking, and now, you know, while I put it back into here, it's going to be better to put it back into the 1/2 or the 3/2 power. And so that's going to be 10x to the 3/2 plus c. So now I'm going to bring this down and multiply by here. So that's going to be 30 over 2. So it's going to be 15x. Subtract 1. That's going to give me to the 1/2. C goes to 0. And so that gives me 15 square root of x, which gives me back where I started, which is what we expected. All right, so here we're supposed to first take our derivative and then take the integral. So first we did here the integral, then derivative. Now here we're taking derivative, then integral. So how do we do that? Well, when we do the derivative, we know how to do that. That's from the last chapter. We're going to take df dx is equal to d dx of our 72x to the 0.3 plus 27x to the negative 0.3. And so that's going to give us what? Well, we're going to bring down that. So 72 times 0.3, we get 21.6. X, subtract off 1, that's going to be to the negative 0.7. Now we have a 27 times 0.3. That gives us 8.1, so it's going to be a negative 8.1 x to the negative 1.3. Okay. And so that is our derivative. Now, B says now take the integral of it. All right, so net integral of 21.6 x to the negative 0.7, and then minus 8.1 x to negative 1.3 dx. And so first things first, we're going to have a 21.6 x to the, add 1 to this. So 1 minus 0.7 is going to be 0.3, divide by 0.3. Now we're going to have, after that, we're going to have a minus, and we're going to have 8.1 x, add 1 to this, that's going to be a negative 0.3. So So divided by negative 0.3, and then plus c. Now 21.6 divided by 0.3 gives me 72, which is better, and then x to the 0.3. And then negative divided by negative is positive, and 8.1 divided by 0.3 is going to give me 27. X to the negative 0.3 plus c. And that is the integral of that. So it kind of takes me back to the original plus that constant of integration. All right, what about the next one? Well, again, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to change that to 16x to the 1/4 first. Okay. Now, first things first, we're taking df dx is equal to d dx of 16x to the 1/4. Well, what are you going to do? Bring that down. So 16 times 1/4 is what? Well, that's 4. Then we have x. 1/4 minus 1 is going to be minus 3/4. Okay. Now, again, we could write that as a radical and stuff like that, but guess what? I'm going to leave it as that just because I know the next time I'm going to integrate it, so it's better to have it there already. So that's my derivative. Now I'm going to integrate that. So I'm going to have 4x. Now I'm going to add 1. So 1 minus 3/4 is 1/4 divided by 1/4. And then I'm going to have plus c. Now 4 divided by 0.25 better be 16. And so I'll have 16x to the 1/4 plus c, which is what we started with, except for that plus c, which is our constant of integration. Okay. All right, so let's stop there and we'll come back for more.